The most popular selling book on Amazon is a low content book. When it comes to categorizing the books, think about it in terms of effort. The low content books would be journals and notebooks. Medium content books would be recipe books and workbooks. High content books would be books like textbooks or novels. But we really want to land on the medium content books. So let's walk through my 4-step process for creating a medium content book using all free resources. Step 1 is research. So find the best-selling medium content book and draw inspiration from it. Step number 2 is going to be to create the book using the research. Step number 3, I'm going to walk you through on exactly what to do to publish the book using the research and the book that we created. And step number 4, I'm going to show you some ways to promote the book, some free and some paid. I know this video might end up being a little bit lengthy, so you're going to want to rewatch it or pause it so that way you can work through the steps with me. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And actually, since I already have the interior and the cover created and I'll fine tune it a little bit, if I receive 1,000 likes on this video, I'll put it for download free down below. 2 free tools I use to help me find the best-selling book a little bit faster is Productor for Merch by Amazon and Helium 10. Those are both Chrome extensions. My go-to keywords to help find a best-selling book are logbook, coloring book, workbooks, activity books, notebooks, and journals.
For step 1 research, what are we looking for? We're looking at the BSR, and the smaller the BSR, the more that is selling. We're looking at reviews, particularly the 1 and the 2s, and we're looking for improvements that can be made to the book. We're looking at the covers and ways to stand out, but still listening to our customers. We're looking at pricing. We want to choose a niche that will allow you to have a profit, but still be competitive with other books.
First thing I want to do is search one of my favorite keywords, and today I'll use the word logbook. As you can see over to the left, there are a ton of logbooks. So I'm going to scroll down and using my Chrome extension tools, Helium 10 and Productor for Merch by Amazon, I'm able to see a little bit quicker what books are the best-selling. And you notice I'm going a little bit fast, and that is because the first few rows, there's a lot of sponsored ads. So you want to get past that so you can see the real organic sales. I'm noticing straight away that there are a few niche books in here, and I'm going to want to write those down and take note of how they look and maybe circle back. But I just want to keep going a little bit more because I know that the front page is very valuable and it gets a lot of sales on the front page. So I scroll to the bottom. First, second page are the sweet spot for me. And I love the way that this book looks actually. The camper RV travel log book. So remember, with my research step, I want to look at reviews, I want to look at the covers, I want to look inside and get a comprehensive view. The first thing I do when I look at the reviews is I go to the 1 and 2 star ratings. I do this because that's an easy way to distinguish the book from another book or an idea that you might have. So you'll see here that some of the 1 and 2 stars, actually a lot of the 1 and 2 stars are saying that this particular book, the font is too small and you need magnifying glasses and better eyes to see them. So this is an easy way that you can change the book to match this demographic.
After you look at the reviews and the book listing, take note of any improvements that you can make that can make your book stand out a little bit more. This includes looking at the covers of all of the other competitors that are doing books in the same category.
Keeping your listing open, you're going to want to go over to KDP Publishing, and if you don't already have an account, open an account up. This is where we're going to create our template cover. Enter your book information for the book size, paper type, and interior type. Make sure you're matching it to what the book's purpose will be. So if it's going to be a field notebook, and it's going to be used for hiking, you might want to make it a little bit smaller so it can fit in a pocket and it's not too bulky when you're walking around. If you're doing a coloring book, make it a little bit bigger. 8.5 by 11 is standard. And for this particular book, since it's going to be traveling in an RV, I would make it 8.5 by 11, especially since we're going to have to create bigger font based on the research in the reviews. I also like things to fit the full page just so it's easily readable, and so therefore I like to choose the bleed font, which means extends all the way to the edge of the page. After you have the cover template downloaded, you're going to want to create the interior template so that you can make sure that if you chose no bleed or bleed, that your font and all of your illustrations are how they should look when you're designing it. For this particular purpose, we're going to go over to Gumroad and download a free template.
To save a lot of time and frustration, I usually download the template for the interiors, which is on Gumroad from a user named Paul. It is the KDP Interior Margin template, and I usually put this in Canva so that I can make sure that all of my designs remain inside the trim.
I made sure to put a link down below. If you're planning on creating more than one KDP book, I would go ahead and download all the sizes of the interior pages so that way you have it for reference next time you're creating another book. So now that you have the interior template and the cover template, we're going to head over to canva.com to create all of the pages. I just want to say that I do have the Canva Pro, but for this purpose, I'm going to be using only the free tools within Canva so that you can see that you can do this for free. Next, I set up a project folder just to keep things a little bit tidier and all in one place. Then you're going to want to open up each of the templates and pay close attention to the size of the template, the width, the height, and make sure you're in inches. So we'll start with the interior, and once we have our template inserted, we'll start scrolling through to see if there's anything that is already created that we can customize for our project. Again, we're going to be looking for free, and so you're going to want to avoid the little crowns in the corner, which indicate that you have the Canva Pro account. This does take a little bit more time just because you want to make sure that you find something that is pretty comparable so that you don't have to recreate it. And again, that medium effort. This will take a little bit of research, and think of all the keywords that you can use. So travel, camper, camping, logs, notes. Those are all keywords that I use when I'm searching for different templates that are out there. And I find ones I like, I usually will star it, or I will just move it over to see if I want to use it, if I find something better. That way I have it all in one place.
Canva is filled with a ton of different designs, so be sure to use them before creating anything from scratch. And get creative in your design searching and try to get inspiration from other journal types. And don't forget, if you're doing a black and white journal, make sure all the colors are black and white inside.
Click the little grid button. It opens it up so that you can see all of your pages, and this is helpful when you're duplicating pages. You can select multiple, and then up near the top left you can create that duplicate pages button. For the sake of time, I'm not going to create the entire journal, but I will show you some of the pages that I think should go into it, and I will create the cover. Again, it's going to be pretty simplistic just for the sake of time, just for the sake of showing you what my process is. Remember from our research that we're going to want to increase the fonts.
When I'm creating my interior, I usually go with a specific font, and that is Montserrat. I find it really easy to read, and if you do a little Google search, you'll find that certain book types have a preferred font that they use, and Montserrat is usually in that particular font category. Again, based on the reviews, we are going to create bigger font, bigger categories, and we're going to just make everything just a little bit more bigger and clearer. It seemed to be what the demographic and your customers wanted, so we're going to do that.
I always like to add little illustrations throughout the book just to stay on point with my niche. So I'll add some camper illustrations, maybe some trees, some mountains, beaches, little campsites, maybe those little directional poles throughout the book just to make sure that it kind of stays on brand.
I also like to add different elements that pertain to traveling or camping or whatever book that you're designing. And this one, since it's camping and RV, I'm going to try to find maybe a little RV and put it in the corner. It's usually something that I see. You can change the entire font on a page if you just select it all and choose the font that you want. Again, we're going to just make it a little bit bigger.
Now we're going to want to work on our cover, and remember we pulled in our template for the cover depending on whether you chose bleed or no bleed. It will give you the trim size around, it'll show you the ISBN barcode area, and it'll show you some of the parameters that you're going to want to work within. So we'll pull that up, and we're going to want to make sure our Canva file matches the file size on the front of the template. It provides all the information for you there.
The first thing I do when I'm designing my cover is make sure that I'm working within the cover template. If it becomes too distracting, then I reduce the transparency to 40% or lower, and you can always increase the percentage later to make sure that your design fits perfectly. The next thing I do is search the graphics, and I filter out for pro elements, which are paid ones, and I also make sure that I don't choose any animated graphics because they don't always appear the same when you're keeping them static. Because we saw a bunch of covers and they used a mountain landscape, we're going to do something similar for an RV road trip mountain aesthetic. A lot of these graphics can be cropped and manipulated to match your vision, change colors, and center as needed. Remember, the title of the book that you'll use on your KDP listing has to be on the cover when you design it, or Amazon will reject it, and you'll have to go back and redesign it, add the appropriate text, download it, re-upload it, and resubmit it for approval. So in this case, the camper journal and RV log has to also appear in the title of your KDP listing somewhere.
I'm going to be putting a little bit more detail in this illustration just to show you the possibilities. My go-to is usually, like I said before, a little bit more simplistic, but this is kind of cute. Adding the trees and a little road in there, showing you how to crop a little bit, pretty straightforward. And then I usually like to add a quote or something cute on the back, just because when you're looking at it, gives everybody an opportunity to see something. So I'll pull some illustrations over, some things that I might use, some things that I might want to use later. That looks, messing with the colors a little bit, that looks pretty good. Then when I'm all done, I will make sure the transparency for the template is set to 100. Once you are done creating, you'll go to File, Download. You're going to want to select the PDF print. My preference is to use Best for print, but in this case, since it's a paid feature, you can use Best for digital use. We'll go back over to KDP, and if you didn't set up your account, now you really have to. So set up your account, and we're going to want to create Publish Paperback. And you can also do the hardcover if you want. It's a little less royalties, so I usually start with the paperback and generate interest after that. Look at the different book titles, and this is where your keyword research really comes into play.
Let's write our book title. We'll use the keywords that we found in our Chrome extensions and some of the popular ones that we're pulling up, meaning that's what people were searching when they were on Amazon looking for this type of book.
You're going to want to put a book title, an author title. For the author, you can put your name, but if you're planning on setting up a brand, you can put a brand name in there. Just note that you can't change the title and you can't change the author's name after it's been published. If you're planning on creating multiple logbooks, workbooks, coloring pages, and you want to set it under a brand, just put the full brand name in the last name.
And I think for this particular one, I want to set up a brand name. So let me toy with some ideas here. I really like the word guides. I really like something that can be used across the board in case I have multiple different workbooks, journals that I want to put in here. So maybe have the word journal or guides in it. Ultimately, it could also be something like publishing. Maybe that's the one I'll put in there. Maybe just like New York City Publishing. I'm not going to get in the weeds with really coming up with an author or putting in a brand name because I don't plan on publishing this. If I do get 1,000 likes, I will put it free down below, and maybe this publisher is somebody that you would want to claim as your brand name. So I'm just going to keep going here because I really want to work on the description. I like to reuse the title in the description. It might help with the SEO. Definitely helps reiterate to your customers what you hope to accomplish in this book. Something else I have on my Chrome extension, and I just realized it because I see it in the corner here, is another Chrome extension called Grammarly. And if you're not good at spelling or grammar like me,
then I suggest downloading it, and it works across all of your websites, and it really helps double check your spelling and grammar. Another thing I like to do when I'm writing my descriptions is I like to do bullets. So you'll see a lot of descriptions that have bullets that want to touch on the major pieces and major selling pieces in the book. So the size of the book, the pages in the book, other little features that you want to mention. This particular book, I might want to mention larger font since it was repeated throughout the review, 1 and 2 reviews in the book that we're trying to draw inspiration from. Remember, you can change this description anytime after it's published, so don't overthink it, don't spend too much time on it. Put some major points, repeat the title, selling features, and then move on. Then you just work your way down the page, answering the questions, and be 100% truthful, because if you're planning on having a passive income from KDP, you want a good relationship with Amazon. So book minimum, look at other books, think about it in your life. Again, I'm going to keep going back to the other listing. I want to make sure that we're hitting all the points that we want to hit in our book listing. Looking at all of the content they have in here, and now we're going to look at the categories. So the bestseller rank and how they're ranked is in each category. So this one is camping books and travel. So when you're trying to find the categories, all you do is go into product details, look at the categories, and then click on it. And it will show you the drop downs of how to find your exact category. So keep the listing up and keep referring back to it as you need to. And then when you're doing keywords, you can keep going back, looking at other books under Amazon, look at what people are searching on Amazon, go to Google Trends, pull up the Chrome extension, and make sure you're touching on all of the short, long keywords that are there. And also think about what would make you want to try to find this book based on what type of words, and do a little research there. Snowbirds, got diary. I don't think that's been mentioned. It might be something that could lead to a sale or two. Road trips. Let's see. We'll just quickly put a few in here because, like I said, I'm not planning on listing this book. But if you want to copy my keywords, feel free to pause the screen and copy away. We just keep moving down, answering the questions. Release my book for sale now. Publication date. Save. Go to the next page. Get it free. KDP ISBN. Remember, this is only for medium and high content books, not low content anymore. We will choose our print options. So I'm going to do black and white interior. Colors take away a little bit of your royalties, and some, I believe the standard color restricts your distribution, so you can only sell it in certain places. And I think Australia is one that you can't sell it in. So I usually like to keep it as broad and generic as possible and as cheap as possible, not in terms of quality, but in terms of print options. So then I go down to the trim and I choose the 8.5 by 11 inch, and then I will go to bleed, and then I'll choose my cover. I usually use matte, super crisp, super beautiful, smooth and soft. Glossy I used for one of my books, and it's really cute, especially if it's a really colorful cover. It looks really great. Let's find our cover and our interior and upload it. And just like, looks pretty cute. I ended up doing a textured background for free, and that's something, if you go to Canva and just type in textured background, it gives you tons of non-paid options. And the interior, this is kind of what we have. I'm gonna make this a lot nicer and a lot more organized, but I just wanted you to be able to see something on the launch so that you get an understanding of how it looks. And the dotted line that goes all the way around, that's your trim line. So anything that goes beyond that, you want bleed to be set. Otherwise, it has to be constrained within those dots. And once those are put in there, and then you see the launch previewer, you get to look at some of the potential royalties that you'll receive when you start selling. You click on the next page, and scroll down. You want to set all territories. Again, this changes based on color interiors, and just start playing around with some of the list prices. This is where you're going to want to be competitive, but still price it that you make a little bit of profit. Go down, and then click publish.
Now that your book is published, let's dive into step number 4, how to promote your KDP book. First up is social media marketing. Use platforms like Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok, and Facebook to create buzz. Share captivating snippets, eye-catching images of your book. Next, we have Amazon advertising. This tool lets you place ads directly where readers are browsing on Amazon. These were the sponsored ads I pointed out during our research step. And thirdly, engage with an online niche community. Platforms like Facebook or Reddit offer these niche communities. And remember, effective promotion is about reaching the right people and sparking interest.
Remember, if I hit 1,000 likes on this video, I will put the interior, the description, keywords, the cover. I'll redo it all so it looks a little bit better, and I'll put it all in the description down below. Thank you for watching.